Hey guys, welcome to the Speedpaint. Quick warning for spiders, bugs, and eyes in the video. If that makes you uncomfortable, feel free to click off this Speedpaint. It's a bit of a longer one this time, so I hope you enjoy watching the process. 'Tis the season to be busy, it seems. Both my best friend and my DM have birthdays in November, so it was a bit of a rush to get two illustrations done on time. You've already seen my bestie's gift of his changeling character Kai. Today we're working on my DM's character, Adriel. I'm not going to use people's real names, just because I'd rather respect their privacy, you know? Anyway, back to the content. This is my second attempt at Adriel. The first was in May, but I wasn't very well back then, and when I drew him, he didn't really turn out as well as I would have liked. I'm proud of my past self for actually getting the portrait finished, but I would like to actually do justice to such a cool character. To be honest, I was struggling to think of what to do for my DM's birthday. Complete brain blank. But I got to thinking about Adriel's character, a wealthy vampire who collects things, and got a spark of inspiration to draw him in front of a wall displaying butterflies and moths. I'd also been wanting to paint some butterflies for a while, so I got to kill birds with one stone, and scratch that artistic itch. The thing about Adriel though is he's not just a vampire, he's also a spy. So I wanted to include a nod to his preferred pastime somewhere in the illustration. What do butterflies and moths have? Eye spots. What's a good way to make people feel watched? Having a bunch of eyes staring at them. I'm also a sucker for an eye motif, so you know I had to do it. The whole brainstorming process had me super excited to start. I naively thought I could get the whole image finished in 2 days. Somehow it ended up taking a week of on and off work, but it was ready in time for his birthday, so that's the important bit. It was also a lot of fun to do, so I can't really complain. So the party that we play ended up being hired by Adriel to deal with a small covenant of witches who had been harassing him. We went out, had a meet and greet, terrified a few people, and a few hours later the job was done and he could rest easy. Everyone is still hanging around his manor though, waiting for finalization of payment. The thing about Adriel though, is he collects strange things. That's what he enjoys collecting the most. And I can't help but wonder if we haven't also been collected. I wanted to add the team to Adriel's collection as well as the eye bugs. So I added a crow skull and a feather and some scrawled text in one of the frames in the top corner, which is symbolic of my character Ash, a Kenku grave cleric. They're a cringed tsundere who has a bad habit of ruining people's lives, and I love them. My bestie's character Kai is a changeling rogue, so I added fairy wings to the frames. I know that changelings don't get wings, but I also didn't want to have just a big old changeling skull or something lying around. That's a little bit more noticeable than a bird skull. Kai also has a chained weapon, so I added some chains behind the wings, as well as a tiny lock and key for their rogue class. It's also a pun. It's a changeling. Chains. Yeah. In the bottom right corner, there's an aspen leaf in an aspen wood frame. I couldn't come up with a more creative way to include our little bloodthirsty 8-year-old elven monk. Aspen is hilarious, but also terrifying given they're the primary fighter of the team. We've got a cleric, a bard, a rogue, and a monk, so he does most of the heavy lifting. The other characters are constantly worried for Aspen, but they really shouldn't be. Like I said, very strong. And across from the aspen frame, there is a spider in a web nodding to our recently acquired bard, Hector. Hector is a half-elf who plays the flute and has a spider familiar. It's supposed to be a very tiny spider at the moment, so I went with an Australian peacock spider, which seems perfect for our favourite fancy lad. It's obviously bigger because I wanted it to be seen. Usually I think they're really, really little, like the size of your fingernail. Finally, in the reflection in the mirror, there is a portrait of a pink tiefling, a nod to our on-again, off-again sorceress, as well as a portrait of a rabbit, since I couldn't leave out Aspen's Almirage Oreo. It just wouldn't be the same without him. So yeah, I had a lot of fun working on this, both because I enjoyed doing all the little nods to the story. Adriel is actually reading The Portrait of Dorian Gray at the moment, which I thought he would enjoy, given they're both immortal but chose entirely different moral paths. And it's also interesting that the book isn't intended to be a lesson in morality, according to the author. And Adriel, being undead, considers himself less than innocent, despite mostly acting to the benefit of others, and spying on people, which is kind of rude. But, you know, you gotta keep yourself entertained when you're hundreds of years old. But I also enjoyed it because it gave me time to reflect on the new friends that I've made and how grateful I am that all of our paths crossed. I mean, my bestie is just a straight up fantastic guy. He's so creative and so clever, I'm always amazed at what he's up to. He just has designs coming out the wazoo. Amazing. My DM is possibly the sweetest person I've ever had the pleasure to meet. He's super considerate of the people around him and is an amazing storyteller. He's brought this game to life and has just made each Friday a thing to look forward to. He's also clever and funny and just a delight to be around. Outside of the game, I haven't really had a chance to talk to the person who plays Aspen, but he is so freaking funny whenever he talks. He leaves everyone in stitches. He's also really good at playing his character. I often forget that he isn't an 8-year-old elf. I more believe that he's an 8-year-old with a deep voice than a fully grown person pretending to be an 8-year-old. Yeah, this year has been quite a lot, but I still feel blessed with the friends that I've made. Like, if you're part of the Lonely Hearts Club now, just know it won't last forever. Friendship will find you. Sometimes it takes a little bit of bravery to hurry things along, but they get there. Talking about the speed paint a little bit more, you would have seen that I use a lot of references, especially if you're doing something that you're not sure about how to do it. I struggled finding a good pose reference. Half of the trick is knowing what the pose is called, which I could not for the life of me figure out. But to draw a face at a strange angle is very difficult at the best of times, so I found a bunch of different faces to reference, as well as how a different artist has approached it. Lots of references for the bugs, because I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of what different bugs look like. So I decided to just really hone in on the references. Some people think that it's cheating, but it's the best way to learn. I'm particularly pleased with how the changeling, in air quotations, wings turned out. I did not expect them to go as well as they did, and I am very pleased with how they look. I also enjoyed painting the skull, which is strange. Skulls are a lot of fun to paint. You wouldn't think it, but they are. I'm half torn to leave it without the overlay that I put on the end to symbolize or to convey different shadows, but we shall see. I like it, but I think it's a little bit of a waste that it covers up all of the color work that I did. I don't really have anything else to talk about, so I guess I will leave it here and just let you guys listen to some music for the rest of the video. So until next time, don't forget to be gentle with yourself, treat yourself kindly. This has been Catmint, signing off.